This is U4 C6L5 Part 2, solving more two-step equations. Yes, we said more. Take it away, Mr. Romanovich.
Hey, glad to be back. You're welcome. So we're going to do more two-step equations, and by the end of this, you should be able to solve these two. 2 times the quantity x plus 4 equals 20, and 1/4, wow, 1/4 times the quantity d minus 3 equals negative 15. That's intense. So let's just look at kind of the training wheels portion here. Here's how we'll start. We're going to stress an extra step now so that we make sure we keep organized with what we're doing, and then we'll avoid some of the mistakes that we find just from the mechanics of what's happening. So in essence, what we're going to do is we're still going to build our wall. So we'll have our wall here. But each time we do a step, we're going to rewrite our equation. And when we rewrite the equation, then we're going to be able to see where we're at that point, so we'll know what the next step is. So it should be a little bit clearer of what we're doing next. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to distribute the 3 over the quantity. We'll multiply 3 by x and 3 by 5. So we'll have 3 times x plus 3 times 5. And at this point, it's still just equal to 45. Nothing has happened on the other side. So now we'll gather these and rewrite our equation. So at this point now we have 3x plus 15 equals 45. Now that should look pretty familiar. That was our last lesson where we had a two-step equation. And now from here we're going to subtract 15 from both sides to isolate that variable further. And then we'll rewrite. 15 minus 15 is 0, leaving us just the 3x. 45 minus 15 is 30. And at this point, you're doing it in your head. We're still going to do the steps, though. We want to take 3x and divide it by 3. Do the same on both sides. Divide it by 3, which gives us x equals 10. Not too tough. Now, of course, we move on to do our check. I'll do our check here so you can see it a little bit easier. We have x equals 10, so our original equation is 3 times 10 plus 15. 10 plus 5 is 45. Then that's 3 times 15 equals 45, which is 45 equals 45. And that checks. Let's try another one. We've already built our wall, so this comes pre-wall built. But in this one, we have a negative on the outside. So we're going to distribute the negative over the quantity first, and then follow the same steps as we did before. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to distribute. So I'll put a big D there. So we're going to have negative 7 times 6 and negative 7 times D, so which gives us negative 7 times 6 plus negative 7 times D, and that still just equals 49. So now we'll draw this across and we'll simplify it to negative 42 plus negative 7D. Now if you prefer to write this as just minus 7D, that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, this is okay too. This still just equals 49. So our next step then is our first step in our two-step solution here. So I'm just going to put a first over here. And what we'll do is we'll add 42 to both sides. And that's equal, so I'm going to put an equal sign. And that leaves us, and at this point we're going to rewrite, negative 7D equals 7. Is that right? No, that's not right. I got my operator wrong. What's 42 plus 49? 9 plus 2 is 11. Carry the 1. 4 plus 4 plus 1 is 9. And now I'm looking at something that I'm not used to, so now I'm wondering, do I have this right? But I know what my next step is. My second step and my two-step, I'm going to divide both sides by the coefficient so that we end up with the variable by itself. So here we're at second step here. Divide by 7? No. Divide by negative 7. Negative 7, negative 7. We're going to divide by negative 7 on this side too, which leaves us just D. And then negative 7 goes into 91. Here's how I would do that. 7 goes into 9 once, with 2 remaining. 7 goes into 21 3 times. Now, is it 13? It isn't 13. I like to do the math first, and then I look to see. I have a negative going into a positive. So this negative must be multiplied by another negative to equal this positive. So this has got to end up being negative 13. So we've then punched that into our handy-dandy checking machine. We'll do this one in blue. We have negative 7 times 6 plus d equals 49. We know that d is negative 13, so now we have negative 7 plus, or times 6 plus negative 13 equals 49. Let's change colors. Then I'm going to simplify inside the parentheses. So we have negative 7 times 6 plus negative 13 is negative 7 equals 49. Negative 7 times negative 7, well, we know 7 times 7 is 49. Then think about what the negatives are. Same sign, negative, negative, means positive answer. 49 equals 49. That's pretty straightforward. So that, boom, whoops, boom, boom, checks. Okay, let's go to the next level. All right, so here's our fraction. No need to worry. We're going to do this one slightly different. So instead of distributing, what we're going to do is we're going to take care of the fraction first. You remember how to take care of a fraction from doing our 2 steps with rationals. And what we're going to do then is we're going to multiply actually both sides by the reciprocal. So we have 3 halves and 3 halves. Oops, let me get my other parenthesis there. And then we'll rewrite. So multiply by the reciprocal to take care of this fraction, which would give us m plus 6 equals, now we have 10 times 3 halves. I can simplify that a little bit. So let's divide by 2 and divide by 2, giving us 5 over 1 times 3 over 1. And I'll simplify that again to say m plus 6 equals 5 over 1 times 3 over 1 is 15 over 1, but we don't need to write the over 1. And now at this point, you're all on point, right? This is so in your back pocket. Now we're down to this step. So here's our, this is now just a one-step equation, so I'm just going to put first and only step. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. Simplify this. Rewrite your problem. Here's your solution. Here's our solve. M equals 9. That was super easy. A lot easier than you probably thought it was when we first saw that 2/3 out here. Let's do the check. We have 2/3 times 9 plus 6 equals 10. 9 plus 6 is 15, so we have 2/3 times 15 equals 10. We'll put that 15 over 1, and then we can simplify that. We'll divide this by 3 and this by 3, giving us 5. 2 times 5 is, oh boy. This is Mr. Romanovich as a 7th grader, drawing an arrow to see if the teacher can follow it. Gives us 10 equals 10, and that checks. So, after those 3, you can hit the learning target, right? These are your 2 problems for the next time we see you. 2 times the quantity x plus 4 equals 20. And 1/4 times the quantity d minus 3 equals negative 15. I know there's a lot of negatives in here, but the key is making sure that we take care of this fraction first. Multiply by the reciprocal, then solve. Good luck.